You have to fail to succeed. That applies to a lot of people in business. And today we are speaking with Emma Mitchell of Eris Business. And we're going to find out a little bit about her company, how she got to where she is now, and just have a quick chat at the end. But my name is Donna Christie. I'm the founder of NESLIB, which is Northeast Scotland Ladies and Lads in Business. And the power of networking brought us together. We then have met on BNS, which is Business Network Scotland, Network Northeast. So the power of networking works. So if you're thinking to give up networking, don't, because you never know who you're going to speak to. So over to Emma to find out a little bit about you, and then we'll move on to finding out about your business. So good morning, Emma. I hope you're well today.
Morning. Thank you very much for having me along today.
Super. So let's find out a little bit about Emma, a little bit of background, and right up to date to where you are now.
Well, I moved to the Highlands back in 2001 after meeting a lovely, wonderful Scotsman who I have to say now, who is my husband. So that's good 20 years together. And I decided that in 2003 to start my own business. So I set up a dog walking, pet sitting, house sitting business because I love animals. And that grew into dog training, dog grooming, and all other wonderful things. And then I set up a pet shop in Inverness, and that's called Simply Pets. And in 2015, I sort of hit a weird time in my life and I decided to go off on a tangent. So I sold my business and I bought a plot of land and literally dragged my husband along and said, "Can you build me a house, darling?" He goes, "Of course I can build a house." He's never built a house in his life. And so we bought this land and he has built a house, an eco house out of the trees that we knocked down to build the house in that space. So very eco, very friendly, all of that, off grid, slightly wacky, but there we are. But I'm all about, I have this growth mindset. So I'm always up for a new challenge. I did a business and management degree, an economics degree, and I was working full time after I sold my business, working for somebody else. And it's all part of that thing is that you have to keep learning. So someone with a growth mindset always wants to learn more. And that is how you grow a business, is by looking outside of your four walls and what other opportunities there are. And that's constantly what I've always done. And in 2020, I got furloughed from my accounts job in the hospitality sector. And I thought, oh, that'd be fine. I have the summer off, enjoy the beautiful sunshine that we had that year. I helped my husband building the house, did lots and lots with the house build. So it's nearly complete, not quite, but just the inside now. So I did a lot of work on the outside, standing on roofs, balancing, thinking, oh my gosh, what am I doing? But then I got my degree. So I got my certificate. So I was really chuffed, and I thought I'll get a graduate job. That'll be fine. I'll just go into senior management. That was my intention. And COVID came along, everything changed. And I decided that all these businesses are really suffering. They don't know how to change. They don't know how to adapt. And so many businesses shut their doors. They went bust. And I was just like, my gosh, and I could see a way through it. If only you did this or this, that is how you could change your business and adapt. But so many business owners have that fixed mindset because but we've only done it this way. How can we do it another way? And that's the beauty of a growth mindset brain like me, is that I can see past those challenges to growing a business out. So that's how Eris Business Services started in March this year. So still very early beginnings. Wow. I've had some real good success with some of my clients. And that's what I do, is I help businesses see beyond the trees, as it were, see that vision and get them to overcome their barriers and their challenges so they are successful.
That sounds amazing. I was people say, why do you always look away from this? I'm scribbling notes because I'm getting on a bit. So, but the growth mindset, I can actually relate to that. I've always felt like that. And so I can see, where people, well, I'm always grabbing for things, it's like, what's next? How can I do, make solutions, always looking for solutions. But I liked how you captured that. And I think that's missing a lot in business, that we're all sort of in the rat race. We're on this little treadmill, and change, can offset people a little bit, but it's good to have a fresh pair of eyes. So I might be getting in touch with you. So that'd be a good idea to have a one-to-one. So how are you finding with everything with, you mentioned COVID, of course, it's still sort of rearing its ugly head around, uncertainties and everything, but more and more people are looking at becoming self-employed, starting up a business, coming up with an idea. What do you think the barriers are for that mindset if people are hesitating? What would you advise?
There's several things, and it's a little bit like when people decide to have children, they will make excuses, or it's not the right time. And people have the same thing when they want to start a business. Oh, the idea is good, but I don't have enough money. How can I run the business and do my job? I'm not ready to give up my job. When you've been trying your business for 6 months and it's like, oh, I can't afford to give up my job. Well, you're never going to succeed with the business if you don't give up the job, or at least cut back drastically on those hours. So there's always barriers. There will always be barriers. Family, I've got a mortgage to pay, I've got a car loan to pay. There'll always be lots of barriers to starting a business. But if you've got a good idea, you've done your market research, and especially if you've tested the business while you're still employed, for example, then and it's proven that the business is going to work, then you just got to go for it. Because if you don't, you will only look back and one day go, I wonder what would have happened if I had started that business. Or someone else will come along and do exactly your idea, and you'll be like, I should have done it. I've thought that lots. There are loads of ideas wearing away in my head, and someone comes along and does exactly what I thought, and I was like, I should have done that idea. So you've just got to go for it. If you want to do it, stop making excuses, just go for it. But it is all in the planning. You've got to plan the business. You can't just jump in and do it. You've got to make sure you plan it, and getting business advice, getting support is vital to that.
I mean, there's lots of organizations out there that have free resources and everything, but for me as a as a small business owner myself, I'm self-employed and there's just me. I think that personal attachment with somebody else is very important, because it's good to be part of something bigger. But when you really need to pick up that phone and have that really probably tough love conversation, probably, but in the right direction, I think that's important. It would be important to me. It's only my thinking while you're talking and stuff. So it's great to know a little bit more about you and your background. I'm sure there's plenty more stories to come from there. But you mentioned dog walking. It's very interesting. I started a dog walking business, got myself all insured and everything. And we were on a call recently, and we found that we were quite compatible. There was a lot of similarities. But also you're up in the Highlands, you're in Inverness, yeah? And you do networking, is that right?
I do. And I drag my 14-year-old dog along as well. Who's deaf. So she wears this pink orangey coat that says I'm deaf on it, so everyone knows. And I'm really lucky that the people that come along, some of them are regulars, and they always look out for her. She quite often will just try and trip them up because she just gets in the way because she can't hear people coming, so she'll stop for a sniff and someone's but the networking, just like networking, is brilliant, but it's outside, it's fresh air, it's exercise. You don't have that thing of being sat with the one person. So if you're walking with someone, you're finding it hard to make conversation, you can just move on to the next person. Whereas if you're in a networking sitting down room at a table, for example, in COVID, the way sometimes it is now, you're sitting in a room and you're stuck with 6 people perhaps, And if you're finding that actually the table over there seem to be having a bit more laughs, or actually you think I'm on the wrong table, it's really hard. But networking is great because you're outside getting a bit of exercise. And I've found that, you know, even if they're not your ideal client, or they're not a potential supplier, for example, they will know someone who knows someone. And it is all about making those contacts with people. It's vital in a business, and we share amazing ideas. Someone will go, oh, I tried this. And then you'll go home and you'll think, oh, I'm going to try that as well, because they will share their business tips with you. And that kind of free advice is fantastic.
Well, it's given me an idea, you know, being a wellness coach. I've always thought about getting out there and walking, having a walking club or stuff. So instead of doing that, we can do networking. So that sounds like a really good idea. I might have to go to them because I'm in the middle of nowhere. I mean, but that sounds like a great idea. So all types of networking works for sure. So, well, that's fantastic, and really nice to know a little bit more about Emma and Eris business. So we will pop this up on social media, and I'm sure that Emma, once you see this, we'll pop in your details so people can get in touch with you. I guess have a one-to-one. Is that how you normally?
Yeah, have a one-to-one, a good chat. And yeah, I work with a lot of business startups. So yeah, it's always having that little chat, because I can always give ideas straight away to someone after a little chat. So
I feel a workshop in NESLIB coming on myself. That's what I feel. A workshop, getting started. How to fail to succeed. There you go. Sounds like a good plan.
Yeah, definitely got to fail first.
Super, excellent. Well, thank you very much. Good to find out a little bit more about you. Take care, and we will see you on a platform somewhere soon.
Thank you, Donna.
Take care.